Hey, thanks for listening to this Trainer Spotlight episode on Fitlete Radio. My name is George Pagan III. Let's meet our coach.
My name is Henri Lambert. I'm CEO and founder of Holometa Strength and Conditioning. I'm from Angers, west coast of France, and I am turning 37 this month. So I'm super excited to celebrate my birthday in this episode. I'm a part-time marketing teacher and part-time coach. I started out as a judo and jiu-jitsu instructor back in 2006, but it was only in 2018 that I really began my journey as a personal trainer. To sum it up, I'm a martial artist with over 20 years of experience in judo and jiu-jitsu, plus a few years of kung fu and MMA. I mostly do one-on-one coaching, but I also do online coaching, but only when I'm 100% available. For instance, if I'm preparing a provider for a big event, I'm 100% focused on him and nothing else.
I know you're an awesome coach and take your job seriously, but to get to know you a little bit more, can you tell us a funny story about your life that happened outside of coaching?
Well, let's go back to the year 2018. I was 30 years old, working as a part time lecturer at the university, and it was summer. In other words, I was completely free and enjoying the French summer. One of my former colleagues from Ubisoft, because I used to be a marketing manager for video games in another life, invited me to his wedding in Mexico. But I hadn't planned to go because I was supposed to leave for the US to work. But in the end, I didn't get my visa, and this happened just 2 days before the bachelor party in Cancun. So, that same night, I decided on a whim to buy a one-way ticket to Cancun. The next morning, I rushed to the first store I could find to buy a suit, no time for a tie, and headed straight to Paris to catch my flight. When I arrived in Cancun, I completely fell in love with the Mexican people. And after 2 weeks, and after attending one of the most beautiful weddings I've ever seen, I decided to stay a little longer to learn more about the culture and the country. I had always wanted to learn Spanish, so to me it was like the perfect opportunity. I was supposed to stay 2 weeks, but I ended up staying 2 years, and it was the most beautiful time of my life, and the hardest as well. From the picture perfect beaches you see on Instagram to days spent on the sidewalk with no money and no food, it was an incredible journey. In the end, I made it. I learned Spanish and I started coaching people outside of France for the first time.
We can't train everyone exactly the same. Our clients come to us having different life experiences and sometimes force us to think outside the box when it comes to their training. As a coach, how do you problem solve with your clients who come to you with some common aches, pains, injuries, some physical limitations, or previous traumas so they can still get the results that they want and the ones that they came to you for?
Well, I think almost everyone who walks into a gym for the first time has some kind of issue they want to address. Most of them are looking to heal. I truly believe that everyone starts with a purpose. And as a personal trainer, you have to understand your client's motivation. So, the very first thing I ask is why? Why are you here today with me? That question helps me understand any underlying psychological issue they might have: heartbreak, depression, low self esteem, or simply the desire to change and move forward from a situation they're suffering from. That's what we could call trauma. Then I ask questions about their past, focused on their sports history. Because knowing which sports they've practiced, sometimes for years, helps us figure out the why. Why behind their posture, why their pain, or why their limitations. You see, sports practiced over many years can have a pathophysiological impact on the body. These effects can be positive or negative depending on the type of sport, the intensity, duration, technique, or the individual predispositions.
Just like we are, most of our clients are spending time on social media and can get information from other people in their family and social circles. When questions come up during coaching calls and training sessions, how do you address some of the common misconceptions around nutrition and exercise with these clients?
That's a great question because misinformation is everywhere these days, especially online. So, when a client brings up a claim like a fat diet or miracle exercise, I never shut them down harshly. Never. No, instead, I ask where they heard it and we talk it through together. I try to give them evidence based explanations in simple terms. For instance, if someone believes carbs make you fat, I explain that carbs aren't inherently fattening. Overconsumption of calories is. I also emphasize personalized approaches because what works for one person may not work for another. So it will depend on the client. My goal is to empower clients to think critically about what they see and hear and to help them focus on sustainable, realistic changes instead of quick fixes. Education is a key part of the coaching process, and I think people really appreciate being treated as partners in their own journey.
Our clients can come to us for many reasons, and often they tell us in their consultations or new lead questionnaire that they have multiple goals or they're trying to work on a couple of things. Usually it's not just one sole specific thing. How do you approach goal setting with these clients who have multiple objectives when you ask them about what their goals are?
That's another great question, and it's a really common situation. When a client comes in with multiple goals, like, I don't know, losing weight, building muscle, improving mobility, the key is to prioritize strategically without overwhelming them. And the first things I do is to clarify and prioritize. We talk about which goals are most important right now and which ones naturally support each other. So, once we know more about the goals, I can start to build a phased plan. For example, we might start with fat loss to improve energy and mobility, then transition into strength building. I just want to make sure that we're not chasing too many things at once because that often leads to burnout or frustration. And I also remind my clients that fitness is a journey, not a checklist. Progress in one area often supports progress in others. And when we track results and stay flexible, we can accomplish much more over time than we might think. This is my opinion.
I believe all coaches should have similar baseline knowledge before starting to work with people. And I'm building Fitly to help bridge some of these gaps that exist in our exposure to education. What experiences or qualifications do you think are crucial for coaches to have in order to deliver the best service they can for their clients?
I would say that every good coach, and it works for teachers as well, that's why my job is very similar when I'm a teacher and when I'm a coach. I think you need a mix of solid knowledge and strong people skills. I think there are few crucial elements every good coach should have: knowledge, experience, emotional intelligence, and a commitment to a lifelong learning. First is a solid foundation of education and certifications because to me, you need to understand anatomy, physiology, nutrition basics. You can't safely train people without knowing how the body works. Second is practical experience. It's one thing to know the theory, but actually coaching real people with different goals, limitations, personalities, teaches you how to adapt and problem solve. Third is communication and empathy. Clients aren't robots, they are no machines. They have lives, stresses, and setbacks. A good coach listens, motivates without judging, and builds trust. And finally, I think there's a commitment to continuous learning. Science evolves, methods improve. So, staying current and open minded is crucial for giving your clients the best results.
Our industry is evolving every step of the way, and we're getting to the point where it's essential to have some sort of technology within your business for both the experiences you can deliver for your clients and your ability to grow sustainably. How do you use technology to assist you in your coaching as a coach and behind the scenes as a coach that nobody really sees?
Honestly, I keep it pretty simple. I'm not big on fancy apps or trackers, which is kind of funny for someone with a marketing and digital background, right? But I focus more on direct communication with my clients. I use WhatsApp. It's my number one tool for talking with my clients, checking in, adjusting plans together, and making sure they feel supported. For instance, I have created a group chat for the Holometa Fight Club. It's a small class I created to teach boxing basics. I share training videos, use polls to get their feedback, and it really creates a team spirit with all my clients, just like a big family group chat. Regarding the other tools I use to create my programs, I use Canva, which is very basics. I also have a YouTube channel where clients can check exercise form. And for the nutrition, I ask them to use MyFitnessPal. So these are very different applications or tools they have to use, and that's the reason why I'm looking for an app gathering all of it: customize workout plans, track progress, share demo videos, and everything, because it will allow me to have uh, a global vision and not this app, and to make sure that everything is connected. It would be easier for me and for them. So that's my mission right now. I'm on a mission and I want to find the best app for coaches, gathering everything I want in it. I use social media, of course, to promote, but not only to promote, I use it as well as my identity. So I use TikTok for Holometa, and I use Instagram for my personal account and Holometa. Not so much to educate, but more like entertaining account to stay connected with my community and to give them some content. But I'm working right now on a new strategy to educate a little more and to share more tips. I think it will be the next level, and we have to be very aware that the old Instagram has evolved, and TikTok, the way it's used, has to be as well a key for coaches to develop their audience and to get more clients.
Paul, thank you so much for coming on and sharing some great info about yourself. Paul and I met in what I think is a pretty awesome way. We met while he was traveling from Paris to the Americas. I believe he stayed in the US and Mexico specifically. I think maybe somewhere in South America later on. But him, his brother, and his friend were doing a gym world tour. And they were picking popular powerlifting and bodybuilding gyms based on some accomplished athletes and popular people on social media. And he happened to pick the gym that I was working out at. And we got into talking during one of the lifts. I think it was one of the free Saturdays that they came over. Spent a couple hours lifting, hanging out, shooting a lot of content and videos. And Paul and I have become great friends. Whenever he makes his way back to the Miami area, we meet up. we grab some dinner, we hang out, share a laugh, grab a beer, maybe get a lift in, and we just catch up. He's a really awesome guy. I'm glad you got to know Paul a little bit better through this episode. Check out the show notes to see how to contact and connect with him best. That's all for this episode. If you want to learn more about Fitlete and possibly get your own episode, visit fitlete.com. That's Fitlete.com. Thanks. I'll talk to you soon.